Much inspired by Austin McConnell's videos, here is a solid chunk of pretty much useless information about guitar stuff. Kurt Cobain used to be a swimming instructor. Eric Clapton quit playing guitar at age 13 because it was too hard. Obviously, he picked it up again and became pretty okay at it. The world's smallest guitar is just 10 microns, about the size of a solitary human cell. The band Van Halen tried out many band names, among them Genesis. Upon finding out the name was already taken, they changed their name yet again to Mammoth. Finally, in '74, they landed on Van Halen. Angus Young does not drink alcohol and he is a big fan of jazz music. ZZ Top decided during one of their live stage shows to have vultures, buffaloes and rattlesnakes on stage, but the buffalo rammed into a tank full of rattlesnakes and released them on stage. In 2001, a British man named Chris Black fell so fanatically in love with his red Fender Strat, known by the name Brenda the Fender, that he decided to marry the guitar. Slash doesn't eat anything from the sea. There's a man-made forest in Argentina that is in the shape of a guitar planted by a farmer named Pedro Martin Ureta. It is made up by over 7,000 cypress and eucalyptus trees. Jim Marshall was a drummer and a drum teacher. The Fender factory makes over 90,000 guitar strings a day. That amounts to over 20,000 miles of string per year, enough to circle the earth. Leo Fender, the inventor of Fender guitars, never knew how to play the guitar. In 1949, B.B. King re-entered a burning music hall to save his favorite guitar. King later learned that the fire was starting when two men knocked over a burning barrel of kerosene while fighting over a woman called Lucille. King has named every guitar his own Lucille as a reminder after that. In 2010, a man from Arizona sold an air guitar on eBay for $5.50 and claimed it was used on a Bon Jovi concert. The guitar Marty McFly rocks in 1955 in Back to the Future wasn't created until 1958. The song American Woman was made by accident. While playing a show in Ontario, Randy Bachman broke a guitar string. While tuning his guitar, he came up with a great riff and he implored Burton Cummings to sing something on it. The first words out of his mouth were, "American Woman, stay away from me." After Beethoven heard Mauro Giuliani play the guitar, he commented that the instrument was a miniature orchestra in itself. Jerry Garcia played a custom-built guitar named Lightning Bolt, which was made from the recycled rosewood of a bed from an Asian opium den. Musician Dave Carroll wrote a song about his experience of how his guitar was broken during a trip on United Airlines. That caused a 10% fall in stock price. Bob Dylan's guitar from the controversial 1965 concert where he went electric was missing for about 50 years. After it was found, it was sold at an auction in 2013 for a record-selling $965,000. Hard Rock Cafe's tradition of displaying rock and roll memorabilia was first started by Eric Clapton, who gave a guitar to the original restaurant in London to hang over his regular seat. Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers once traded a guitar signed by the Rolling Stones for $10 worth of heroin. David Gilmour's iconic black Strat was purchased for a whopping $3.9 million during a David Gilmour auction in New York in 2019. This makes it the most expensive guitar ever sold. Also in 2019, Gibson destroyed hundreds of Firebird 10 guitars. The company said the instruments were beyond repair and could not be donated. 2020 was the biggest year of sales volume in Fender history. I repeat, Fender has never sold as many guitars as they did in 2020. Maybe rock and roll isn't dead quite yet. Yngwie Malmsteen has stated that Jimi Hendrix had no musical impact on him and did not contribute to his style, but watching the 1970 TV special where Hendrix smashed and burned his guitar made Malmsteen think this is really cool. Also, Malmsteen apparently doesn't like donuts.
No, I don't eat donuts.
Jimi Hendrix was once kidnapped after a show in New York City. He left with a stranger to score some cocaine, but was instead held hostage at an apartment in Manhattan. Jimmy was found 2 days later, unharmed. Eric Clapton's nickname Slowhand has nothing to do with his guitar technique. With the Yardbirds, Clapton often broke strings during shows, and while he was changing them, the audience would slow clap. This apparently inspired the Yardbirds' manager to come up with the name Slowhand. Jimmy Page states that his first guitar was a second-hand 1959 Futurama Gracioso. Though it was launched in 1961, the SG only became known as the SG in '63. Before then, it was known as the Les Paul. It was a replacement for the original Les Paul. It was only after Les Paul's involvement with the guitar ended that it became the SG, and that stands for Solid Guitar. Jimmy Page was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, once as a member of the Yardbirds and once as a member of Led Zeppelin. Leo Fender didn't come up with a name for the Stratocaster, but Don Randall, Fender's sales and marketing wizard, did. Randall was a pilot and aviation fan, so it's believed that the name was a tribute to aircraft technology. Jimmy Page didn't want anyone else to take credit for the sound of Zeppelin songs, so he produced every record of the band himself, and for each album he used to hire a new engineer. The Clapton guitar, also known as Blackie, which he used into the mid-1980s, was assembled from 3 Stratocasters. He bought a bunch of Strats in 1970, and from those he took a 56 body, a 57 neck, and the pickups from a third guitar and made Blackie. The first Marshall amplifier, the famous JTM 45 model, evolved from the 5F6A Fender Bassman. When Pete Townsend demanded his sound to be louder, Jim Marshall's solution was the 100-watt Marshall amplifier and a Marshall 8x12 speaker cabinet. This was way too bulky to transport, so it was replaced by 2 stacked 4x12s, giving rise to the iconic Marshall stack. Marshall's first combo amp, the Bluesbreaker, derives its nickname from being used by Eric Clapton with John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers. Gene Simmons produced Van Halen's first demo tape, which he later took to his management team, who rejected the ban. The guitar term brown sound originated from Alex Van Halen's drum playing. In one interview, Eddie stated that his goal was to sound like Alex's snare, warm, big, majestic, and brown. In a 2006 interview, David Gilmour said his favorite Pink Floyd album is Wish You Were Here, and favorite song is Shine On You, Crazy Diamond. When Nirvana recorded Nevermind, Kurt Cobain was homeless. Richie Blackmore from Deep Purple was once quoted saying, "I like popular music, I like ABBA very much." Slash was a kleptomaniac as a teen. He once stole a chameleon. He also stole his first top hat from a Hollywood store called Retail Slot. David Gilmour speaks 4 languages: French, German, Italian, and English. Cobain played his guitar left-handed but played the drums right-handed. Slash also has a pet anaconda named Sam. Mark Knopfler used to work as a journalist. ZZ Top once refused a $1 million offer from Gillette to shave their beards for an ad. Steve Vai is not only a pretty okay guitarist, he is also a beekeeper.